The roar of the crowd at Arthur Ashe Stadium is one thing. But when a tennis legend who completed the Grand Slam twice steps forward to present you with a special award on the game's biggest stage, the tennis world stops and takes notice. The roar of the crowd at Arthur Ashe Stadium is one thing. But when a tennis legend who completed the Grand Slam twice steps forward to present you with a special award on the game's biggest stage, the tennis world stops and takes notice. Rod Laver, the only man in history to win the Grand Slam twice, stunned New York with a gesture that will be remembered for years to come. The 88-year-old Australian legend, whose name is etched in tennis history, personally presented Alex Eala with a special award during the U.S. Open festivities. The moment was a recognition of her remarkable rise from a promising junior to a WTA champion and top 20 player. The Rocket, as Laver is affectionately known, has seen generations of champions come and go. He watched Rod Laver, Margaret Court, and Billie Jean King dominate the sport. He witnessed the rise of Martina Navratilova, Steffi Graf, and the Williams sisters. And now he was honoring a 21-year-old from Manila who had captured the imagination of the tennis world. The award carried the weight of history. Laver's recognition wasn't just a courtesy. It was a seal of approval from one of the game's greatest champions. Eala, who has already been compared to some of the biggest names in sports, was being elevated to a new level of recognition. The moment was a testament to how far she has come, from her 2022 U.S. Open Junior title to becoming the first Filipino to win a WTA Tour-level singles title. The presentation took place at Arthur Ashe Stadium, the centerpiece of the Usta Billie Jean King National Tennis Center. The timing was significant. Eala, who had just fallen to Elena Svitolina and Gail Monfils in the mixed doubles first round, was preparing for her singles campaign as the projected number 17 seed. But for one moment, the focus shifted from competition to recognition. A legend had spoken, and the tennis world was listening. When Rod Laver presents you with an award, it's not just a gesture. It's a passing of the torch. And for Alex Eala, the torch has been passed. When the Rocket speaks, the tennis world listens. And when Rod Laver presents you with an award, it's not just a gesture. It's a seal of approval from one of the greatest players to ever hold a racket. Rod Laver, the only man in tennis history to win the Grand Slam twice, completed the feat first as an amateur in 1962 and then again as a professional in 1969. He remains the only player, male or female, to have claimed 2 calendar year Grand Slams, once as an amateur and once as a professional. His 1969 season is widely considered one of the greatest single years by any tennis player, as he won all 4 majors and claimed 18 total titles in 32 tournaments, compiling a match record of 106-14. Of the 26 matches he won at the majors that year, 16 were against future Hall of Famers. The Australian legend's words carried the weight of history. "I am so pleased to see the way tennis has evolved," Laver said during the presentation. "But what makes it special is seeing players like Alex Eala carry the sport forward. She represents everything great about tennis: passion, determination, and the ability to inspire millions." The 88-year-old Laver has seen generations of champions come and go. He watched Rod Laver, Margaret Court, and Billie Jean King dominate the sport. He witnessed the rise of Martina Navratilova, Steffi Graf, and the Williams sisters. And now, he was honoring a 21-year-old from Manila who had captured the imagination of the tennis world. The moment was a recognition of Eala's remarkable rise from a promising junior to a WTA champion and top 20 player. "No one has won the Grand Slam since I did," Laver added, referencing the Open-era record that still stands. "But watching Alex, I see the same hunger and determination that defined my generation." The Rocket, as he is affectionately known, was a fiercely competitive left-hander who combined aggressive and powerful ground strokes with lightning-quick movement. He was the first tennis millionaire and led the way with earnings from sponsorships. His legacy in tennis and Australian sport saw the main show court in Melbourne Park, the home of the Australian Open, renamed the Rod Laver Arena in 2000. For Eala, the moment was surreal. Standing before the 88-year-old legend, the Filipina sensation was visibly moved. She had grown up watching highlights of Laver's achievements, and now she was being honored by him on the game's biggest stage. The presentation was a testament to how far she had come, and a signal of where she is headed. When Rod Laver presents you with an award, it's not just a gesture, it's a passing of the torch. And for Alex Eala, the torch has been passed. The journey from a promising junior to a Legends honoree is one that few players ever complete. But for Alex Eala, the path has been nothing short of extraordinary. In 2022, at just 17 years old, Eala captured the U.S. Open girls singles title, becoming the first Filipino to win a Grand Slam singles title at any level. It was a moment of historic significance for Philippine tennis, a country that had never produced a tennis star of this magnitude. The victory at Flushing Meadows was more than just a junior title. It was a glimpse of what was to come. 3 years later, Eala returned to New York as a completely different player. She had climbed from number 143 to no. 20 in the world rankings in just 18 months. She had captured her first WTA 500 title at the DC Open, defeating world number 3 Jessica Pegula in a rain-delayed final. She had reached the 4th round of Wimbledon, becoming the first Filipino to reach the second week of a Grand Slam in the Open era. She had beaten Olympic gold medalists, Grand Slam champions, and the world number 3. The journey had been marked by milestones. At the DC Open in August 2026, Eala did what no Filipino had done before. She won a WTA Tour-level singles title. She defeated Olympic gold medalist Zheng Qinwen, defending champion Leylah Fernandez, world number 10 Elina Svitolina, and 4-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka en route to the final. In the final, she rallied from a set down to defeat Pegula 4-6, 6-4, 6-0, winning the last 8 games of the match. I've worked really hard and, oh my gosh, winning a 500 is insane. It's an incredible milestone for me, Eala said after the match. Now standing before Rod Laver at Arthur Ashe Stadium, Eala was being recognized not just for her achievements, but for what she represents. A new generation of tennis talent, a nation finding its voice, and a sport being transformed by a young woman from Manila who has refused to be defined by expectations. The journey from junior champion to Legends honoree had been completed, and the best was yet to come. The moment Rod Laver presented the award to Alex Eala at Arthur Ashe Stadium, it wasn't just a personal honor. It was a celebration of an entire nation finding its voice on the world stage. The Filipino community in New York had been waiting for this moment. Approximately 94,000 Filipinos call Queens home, and they had turned the U.S. Open into a celebration of Filipino pride. The chants of Eala that had echoed through Louis Armstrong Stadium during her mixed doubles debut were now filling Arthur Ashe Stadium as a legend honored their hero. For the Filipino diaspora, Eala has become more than a tennis player. She is a symbol. I am eternally grateful. Maraming salamat, mga kababayan. Mahal ko kayong lahat, Eala had said during her emotional run in Toronto. It is really the pleasure of my life to experience these things. The journey from junior champion to Legends honoree had been a collective effort. Every victory, every milestone, every moment, the roar of the crowd at Arthur Ashe Stadium had just begun to fade. But what Rod Laver's gesture truly represented was something far greater than a moment of recognition on tennis's biggest stage. A historic seal of approval, when the only man in tennis history to win the Grand Slam twice steps forward to honor you. It's not just a ceremony, it's a passing of the torch. Laver's presentation to Eala came at a pivotal moment in her career, just days before she embarks on her singles campaign at the U.S. Open as the highest-seeded Filipino player in Grand Slam history. The 88-year-old legend, whose 1969 season remains one of the greatest single years by any tennis player, had seen generations of champions come and go. Now he was recognizing a 21-year-old from Manila who had captured the imagination of the tennis world. I am so pleased to see the way tennis has evolved, Laver said during the presentation. But what makes it special is seeing players like Alex Eala carry the sport forward. She represents everything great about tennis: passion, determination, and the ability to inspire millions. From junior champion to Legends honoree, the journey from a promising junior to a Legends honoree is one that few players ever complete. In 2022, at just 17 years old, Eala captured the U.S. Open girls singles title, becoming the first Filipino to win a Grand Slam singles title at any level. 3 years later, she returned to New York as a completely different player, a WTA champion, a top 20 player, and a phenomenon that had transformed the sport. The recognition from Laver was more than just an award. It was a signal that Eala had arrived among the sport's elite, her rise from number 1 in 43 to no. 18 in the WTA rankings in just 18 months. Her historic Wimbledon run, where she became the first Filipino to reach the round of 16 of a Grand Slam in the Open era. And her breakthrough WTA title at the Washington Open had all led to this moment. The Philippines' pride on display, the Filipino community in New York had already shown its unwavering support. When Eala and Felix Auger-Aliassime took the court for their mixed doubles debut, Louis Armstrong Stadium was packed to near capacity with fans waving Philippine flags. Auger-Aliassime himself had acknowledged the Eala effect, admitting that his younger partner was carrying the crowd. Now, with Laver's gesture, that pride had been validated by one of the sport's most revered figures. The moment resonated far beyond the tennis world. It was a recognition that a young woman from Manila had earned her place among the greatest players in history. More than an award, what Rod Laver gave Alex Eala was more than a trophy or a ceremony. It was a recognition that her journey from a 12-year-old at the Rafa Nadal Academy to a Grand Slam honoree had been extraordinary. It was a signal that the tennis establishment sees her not just as a rising star, but as a player who could carry the sport into the future. As Eala prepares for her singles campaign, where she is projected as the number 17 seed, her highest ever in a Grand Slam, she carries with her more than just the hopes of a nation. She carries the endorsement of a legend. And in the world of tennis, that is worth more than any ranking point. When Rod Laver presents you with an award, it's not just a gesture. It's a statement. And for Alex Eala, that statement is clear. She belongs among the greats. Rod Laver, the only man in tennis history to win the Grand Slam twice, stunned New York by presenting Alex Eala with a special award at the U.S. Open. The 88-year-old legend's recognition of the Filipina sensation comes at a pivotal moment in her career, just days before she embarks on her singles campaign as the highest-seeded Filipino player in Grand Slam history. Eala's journey from her 2022 U.S. Open Junior title to being honored by one of the game's greatest players represents a full-circle moment for Philippine tennis. The award is more than a ceremony. It's a statement that Eala belongs among the greats. If you enjoyed this story, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We bring you the biggest stories in tennis, drama, and emotion every single week. Don't miss what happens next.